We are back in full swing.
I was just asking about the plea bargain and the fact that the president just assented to it. I would have thought that they should have been part of our legal system a very long time ago.
You have hopes, Pa.
A very long time ago.
You have hopes.
Wow.
I think that what would need to start doing is to separate the office of the Attorney General from that of the Minister for Justice, because the Minister for Justice must be the Minister for Justice. The Attorney General, must be interested in prosecuting. If you put the same person, give the same person two hats, like we have done to our Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, who's also the leader of government business in Parliament, how are you able to, manage the two? Because at some point, you are the chief prosecutor. At some point, you are the one who's supposed to advise government. If there's a government official who is caught in the net, what do you do? And we can go back to the Ejapa deal. The former Attorney General wrote an opinion, a legal opinion, suggesting that she was not in favor of it. The government went ahead anyway. You get the point. So we need to split that. That, for me, I think will bring a lot of the realistic things that we're looking. I mean, it's not too cool that at this point we're now
signing
plea. It's not cool.
Unbelievable.
Anybody who watches us, Ghana is the gateway to Africa, is this, is that. We should have had this a long time ago.
Unbelievable.
And the fact that we still are not able to feed our prisoners, 1 cedi 80 pesos is what we feed our prisoners with. And yet we do not have non-custodial sentences. I know that there's something in the works for it, but it's taking too long. I mean, we can't feed the people. We're supposed to be reforming them. We give 1 cedi 80 pesos, possibly give that also to a contractor who supplies the food. So in the end, it's not 1 cedi 80 pesos, which would be translated to 60 pesos, 60 pesos, 60 pesos, breakfast, lunch, supper, because it would reduce. It's pretty much like the 97 pesos we give to the children to go and feed them. It goes through a contractor. The contractor will not have to use all the 97 pesos because they are not running an NGO. So if you put 100 children together, that's less than 100 cedis feeding the children. We need to get serious at some point.
We do, and the fact that even when it comes to the issue of remand prisoners, we're told that at the moment, as at September 2021, we had about 1,590 prisoners on remand. We've heard from people who have been to prison and come out saying that there are people who have been on remand for years. And in some cases, their docket is missing, and so they're just there waiting for a miracle. And we can't feed these people, but nobody is doing anything about it, and we're leaving them in there to rot, whether they're guilty or not.
When you go to the Nsawam prison, and I take great interest in this because I'm one of 8 ambassadors for the U.S. government's justice support activity. And I take delight in this because when you go to Nsawam prison, for example, we saw it when we went to Nsawam prison, a whole designated area for persons who are on remand. And simply, that's the creation of the prison service because they don't want, you are innocent until proven guilty. That's our law. Now, they don't want them to mix with people who have already been convicted and are in the process of being reformed because they may transfer some, whatever it is. But it's not fair. It's not fair that, let's say police picks me up. A case is made against me. I still am in court trying to, defend myself. Then they tell me the cells are full. I'm put on remand. I'm dropped in and then
that's it.
Nothing happens. They tell me my documents are missing. My docket, everything is missing. So yes, what's the responsibility of the state? I mean, and I remember that when Justice Yoni Kolendi, Justice of the Supreme Court, was inaugurating the 8 ambassadors for the USA JSSA, program, he mentioned that somebody had been in jail for, I think, 9 years because the court granted and said that, oh, you are free to go. And then somebody within the chain decided that you cannot go. I will keep you in there. And the person was kept in there for all the time. So I will show you where power lies is more like a second name or title or opportunity or right for people who have a certain position of authority, and I think that it's bad.
It is.
It's very bad. When you have a chance to serve in a position of authority, you're supposed to actually serve in the strictest sense of the word. You're not supposed to be lording it over people, and that for me is a big problem. It's a big problem. I get sad each time I talk about these things because you need to see what the inmates are eating. You need to see what they are eating. And then you will, and I always say, we are all close to the prison. We are all close to the prison. We are all close to the asylum. We are all close to all those institutions. And I remember that some politicians had to be put in cells only for them to come back to complain about mosquitoes and the deplorable state in which those facilities were, and then champion for those things to be fixed. We need to wake up as a country.
We do. Absolutely. And it takes me back to the Afrobarometer report. I was just looking at it because there was a part where they asked Ghanaians that were sampled whether they are they're happy with the kind of service that's being meted out to them by elected officials and government officials. Right. And in fact, about 65% of them said that government should respect citizens and do what they request. 90% of them said that they agree, but not to a large extent. But the most important is the fact that a lot of them did say that you are in the office for us.
That's right.
You are not in the office to lord over us.
Right.
And so you need to do the work that we've elected you into office to do.
Right.
And that's the problem, because a lot of these officials unfortunately get into power and they forget everyone else and think that they are bosses.
This is not the first time the CDD is putting this in the report, the Afrobarometer report. And there are other CSOs that have also spoken about it. Will it change? I don't know. But it goes back to the point. We seem to be lying to ourselves that we run an executive presidency. We don't actually, we run a confused version of democracy, because if you look at the parliamentary democracy and the presidential democracy, we have put it together and we're running it. So the people go and sit at one table, they formulate policies, and then they come to this other table, reconstitute and say, we are vetting the policies that were created here. Who does that? That you set your own questions, you mark your own exams, you score yourself, and then you come to say you have passed. How do you do that? So we need to start thinking and looking at it. And then it goes back to who gets appointed. In our present dispensation, the president has too many people to appoint within a very short time. And sometimes you find that even constituting boards becomes a problem. It lingers for a long time. And when there are no boards, they can't take any meaningful policy decisions. UMAC suffered that, the University of Media Arts and Communication. They suffered that for a long time. And they are not the only institution. We need to change.
We do.
We need to change.